Hi, it's Grace again. This is our final clip. Here I will try and show you how to join motifs and then remove the piece from the pattern. I already have a thread attached, otherwise I would just lay down another thread along the outside perimeter line and just go over it as if it were part of the foundation line. We're joining the motifs today with a figure 8 stitch. So basically you go into the center and first you go to one side and then you go to the other side, a lot like when you were doing your woven picots. The tensioning on this one is the trickiest part. You just want it to be as even tension as possible. I found that if I just try and get a rhythm going and don't futz with it too much, that I get my best tension. Here what I'm trying to do is put it through and make an invisible join between those bars that I've already worked, and my tack was getting in the way, so I cut the tack early. So I usually put a couple stitches through each of those bars to make them look as seamless as possible. This is a nice stitch for having a wider look. A lot of the attraction in your piece of lace is going to be with using varying widths, and this bar gives a nice wide bar, as opposed to the wrapped bar is the skinniest one, and then the buttonholed bars are kind of a medium weight. Whenever you get to a motif intersection, you want to try and anchor it as well as possible together so that it looks like it was created together. There are examples of pieces where you can see that they join them after the fact in this same manner, because they're kind of gapping at the corners. One of my threads had kind of gone over top of another thread there. You just want to make sure that you notice when that happens and fix it. Now, on this final bit, I could use I'm having problems getting it through. I could use a lasso ending, but honestly, this type of bar, the figure 8 bar, is really easy to get your needle through, so I'm not bothering on this one. If I were doing any other kind of bar, I would use the lasso ending. And you can find the instructions for that on my website. Now I'm going to feed the needle up through the stitches to hide my tail, which is relatively easy with this type of bar. and I'm cutting it back. Now to cut it off, you need some really fine tipped embroidery scissors. I think these are Dovo Hardanger scissors. They're specifically, the tips are ground down to get as fine of a point as possible. So they're even better than regular embroidery scissors. My biggest expense, to be honest, doing lace are the scissors. I cut all of the tacks that I can see and can easily get to before I start pulling it off. And then once I've cut all of those tacks, I start pulling it away from the pattern and snipping all the ones that I wasn't able to pre-cut. Some of the threads, this is where it's important to have a difference in the tacking thread versus the linen that you're using for your pattern or your actual piece, so that you can tell which ones you need to kind of leave alone so you can get a nice tight cut to the piece of lace. So now I'm going to take tweezers. These are really nice tweezers that I got off of Amazon from a company called Tweezer Guru. They're ground really well so that you can grip with them. And here I am cutting off some of the tails that I sunk down into the back of my work to get them out of the way. I highly recommend these tweezers. They're like $8, and they are a lot better than regular tweezers that you buy at the CVS. There you go.